who is in the call. That's also important. And let's see here, Carolina, you are at home now. Okay.
Yes.
Maybe you can just give some background information for why you're here, what your position is.
My name is Carolina. I'm from Kaunas College, Alytus faculty, and I am a new person in this faculty, and I work. My work is with projects, and I am a project development manager in this faculty. So I work here about 2 months. So it's there are some new projects for me. I have experience, but I have experience in projects, uh, but how to say, it's not it's not very big. Mm, uh, uh, how to say, I have not
Experience?
very, yeah, experience. Yes, yes.
We've
Okay.
got it.
So, and my English isn't very good, but I hope that I will understand everything. And there was a time when I was spoken very well, but but there was a time when I didn't need this language, so I need to work and with my English, but I think everything will be all right. So Mindaugas isn't here now.
No, so you are present here from, yep, okay.
Yes, so I'm alone. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank
Yeah.
you for introducing yourself. Well, maybe the English, I think it's good, but when I look at your last name, I think my Lithuanian, that will be very difficult. That's a really long last name. How do you pronounce that one?
Matukinienė.
Wow, that sounds good. Okay,
Yes.
well, thank you, Caroline. And then maybe we can go over to Portugal. And I've been here now this whole day. This is the third call, Marco, we are we are having today.
It's a completely online day, so once again, nice to see you. Hello, everyone. Okay, maybe I can just share a little bit about who we are and what we are doing here and why we are in this program. We are based in Vila Nova de Gaia, near to Porto. We are Isla Gaia, Polytechnic University of Management and Technology, and we are still on an early stage what comes to sustainability. We know where we are and we know where we want to go, and for that we need your help to embrace this adventure. We've done some homework. I think Joanne already shared some of the information on what we've been working on. And yes, it's a pleasure to be here and to share with you what we've been doing, and more than that, try to learn with you and try to go deeper on this sustainable path that we are carrying right now. And now, if you don't mind, I will give the floor to Joanna. She's eager to speak. So, Joanna.
Hi, my name is Joanna. I'm working in the Human Resource Department, and I'm here to help and travel to the team.
And just to add something up, Joanna's master thesis was on sustainability. So many of the work that we already have done, it was done by Joanna. Okay, so yes, she's the one that she's trying to lead us on this adventure as well. And then we've got Rosalina.
Rosalina, hello. I'm working at Isla. I'm here to join, to help with this process with Joanna. It's awesome.
And last but not least, we've got this guy. I don't know who he is, but I think he's Ricardo. Let's see. Okay, Ricardo.
Hi, my name is Ricardo, teacher. My name is Otto.
Okay. That's pretty much it. I don't know if you want anything else from our side, Paul. Any information at this point?
No, that's all clear. And you've started with the global goals. Oh, there's a lot of echo in there. But you started in the global goals a couple of months ago. So
Yes, that's it.
just for the sake of the echoing, I will just mute you down there, and then we'll give the floor to Reinko to introduce himself.
Yeah, I'm Reinko. I work together with Rob and Paul under Global Goals for Cifal. I'm also working at a University of Applied Science, Avans in the Netherlands, Breda. I'm a researcher there and also a tutor and a lecturer. And above that, I'm also a trainer and a coach. And that's basically it, I think. Did I forget something, Paul?
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. And Rob, maybe you're going to introduce yourself and maybe also the speaker.
Yes, let's do that. And let's start after my short introduction. I'm the founder of the Global Goals Community now for about 1 year, working on this beautiful product and projects with our customers, clients like Isla Gaia. And we do it in two directions. One direction is, of course, I would say in the Netherlands with our business partners. And on the other hand, we have a higher educational front runner group, which is initiated through BusyNet, but already interest from outside of BusyNet. And even with other international networks. So I don't know what's going to happen, but it looks like it looks like it's interesting. A very nice program, and I think then I move already to the last person who did not introduce himself, but to Jean-Pierre. In my, let's say, previous life working for Avans University and in international and in sustainability, I met Jean-Pierre Seegers from PXL, and at least I say, but I think we can say we are friends all over and see each other every time again. Our path crosses always, and Jean-Pierre was so willing and enthusiastic about giving a presentation about the PCA2030 Trajectory at PXL in Brussels, specifically for this group for higher educational institutes. I think it's a really learningful presentation, Jean-Pierre. But before I say everything about your presentation, I would like to hand over. And I think you have a short presentation about who you are.
Yeah.
So the word is yours.
Thank you, Rob, and nice to see you all. So I am Jean-Pierre Seegers from Belgium. I will maybe start to share the presentation. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yeah. And also in full screen. Yes, you see it?
Yeah, we see. I suppose you can click below so it will fill the whole
is it not
screen? Yeah.
On my screen it is filling, but let's see what is.
Yep, that's it.
You see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm Jean-Pierre Seegers. I'm the honorary dean of PXL Business School. I was dean for 11 years at the PXL University of Applied Sciences of the business department. We had about 3,000 students, and we still have. And I also founded in those times student startup to enhance entrepreneurial learning by students setting up their own company. And that's, by the way, at that time when Rob and I met during the BusyNet conference. So, and as Rob said, we became not only colleagues, but also friends, meeting a lot of times. But since then, I have taken up a role that I had in former years, and that's being a professor at a number of universities, professor of strategy and innovation for international students at Hasselt University, but I'm also affiliated to Liège University in the French-speaking part of Belgium. And I also was, during 5 years, a visiting professor at Riga Technical University in beautiful Riga in Latvia, so near to Lithuania, of course. And next to that, and then I will stop about myself, I also founded 2 companies, and the main one is Brains and Trees, and that is an international training company dedicated to the facility management industry. So enough about me, but you asked me to present the business case of PXL related to the PCA 2030 agenda and also the transition project that we went through. So you know that PCA 2030, it stands for Pioneer, Champion and Ambassador, the 3 levels that are in there. We did that, and I will explain in a number of slides, in a number of coming slides. We did that together with Cifal-Unitar and Cifal-Flanders, based in the historical city of Ghent in Belgium. Is an affiliate of the United Nations, so and dedicated to the 2030 SDG, UN 2030 Sustainable Development Goals agenda, of course. So our main partner. In this slide, you see the trajectory. I will explain how we, as PXL, transitioned through that. But let me first maybe give you some pointers or insights into what PXL is. This is a slide in Flemish or in Dutch, but I will translate. We don't have this one in English. We always talk about the PXL ecosystem. And you have to understand, PXL is a University of Applied Sciences, meaning that in Flanders, in Belgium, a University of Applied Sciences only hosts bachelor degrees, so no master degrees. But given the Bologna Treaty, we are affiliated with the regional university, and that's the university where I'm also a professor, and that's Hasselt University. And then there is a 3rd partner within our ecosystem, and that is a big institution that is dedicated to vocational training. So everything to do with vocational training, but also with lifelong learning. Also in there is what they call in the Netherlands, the associate degrees. So the level just up to the bachelor degree. And if you take all of that together, so PXL in itself, our partner Sintra, which is the vocational institution, and then the regional university, then that adds up to 26,000 students. So 26,000 in the ecosystem of what we call the PXL ecosystem. And within that ecosystem, there is the business case of the transition towards sustainability and towards bringing the SDGs to life within that ecosystem. So I will go into that into detail into that case. This one, I suppose everyone knows by heart, the 5 pillars, but in fact there are now 6, the planet, prosperity, peace, partnership, and people, but also pleasure is in there with the big chunks of SDGs that belong together. And I put them in another slide where you see the economic SDGs, the basic human SDGs, and the SDGs that have to do with environment and also with achieving the goals. And then you see 4 building blocks that bring all the 17 SDGs nicely together. And this is from a I had a sustainability course in Riga, a PhD course in Riga. And there, one of the sentences that I put in there is what you see here. Smart companies and smart organizations treat sustainability as a new frontier of innovation, meaning that if you're not into sustainability, then yeah, you're not doing the right thing anymore. Innovation is going very quickly. Not only thinking about emerging technologies, think about artificial intelligence. But yeah, sorry to have to mention this, but think about what happened the past few days in Spain, in the Valencia region, now also in Barcelona and Tarragona. So things are happening, as we know, that are not going into the right direction, and they are all connected to the big umbrella concept of sustainability. And of course, sustainability has many definitions or sub-definitions. Also, circularity, of course, is right in the middle of that one. So I now currently have a student who is doing his master thesis on circular fashion, for example, fast fashion, slow fashion. That also has to do with sustainability, as you will know. But what does all of this have to do with an institution like PXL, and how is that connected? And I think this slide explains it very well. It's about embedding sustainability in the core of your organization. So the alignment with your strategy, integrating it into your processes and in your organization, in your decision making, and also think about the co-op learning circle, doing things, evaluating things, the PDCA circle, monitoring things and evaluating things. That is what is really in this slide. So bringing sustainability in the core of your organization, in this case, the business case of PXL, of course. And it's all about transition management, of course. So transition management, meaning that you facilitate and accelerate a transition through a process of participation, of vision, and bringing forward new visions, learning on the way, and also experimenting with new things. So there again, a learning circle. And there are two approaches that can be implemented there. Of course, there are more if you go deep into the literature. At the end of the presentation, I will show you a number of publications that we also did on that one. But the multi-actor perspective and the multi-level perspective are really important. Multi-actor, very simple, meaning that you identify all your stakeholders that are involved in the big process, and you start interacting with them. And the multi-level perspective, that's from a Dutch author called Geels, Geels, who published a lot of high-level journal papers on that one. That means that developments take place at multiple levels: the micro level, the macro level, the meso level. So always going up into the levels, let's say, and in the phases of implementation. I'm not going too quickly, and you can hear me loud and clear.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
And it will be a nice introduction, because after your presentation, there will be a lot of possibilities to ask questions about how you did this all, how do you start it, and all the things. So
it's all in the presentation, as you will see. So, but yeah, of course, I'm open to any kind of question afterwards. So the approach that we took, and this is also the typical approach by Cifal, is looking at things from the inside out, so from within PXL to the outside, and from the outside world, bringing things into the PXL ecosystem. So inside out, outside in. And there looking for gaps. Where are things not synced as they should be? Bringing the sustainability goals in the right perspective, let's say. And now, Paul, indeed, as you just mentioned, I come to the slides that really show you how we did things. And the first step that we took is building a transition team, because we are talking about a transition project. That's really project management in every way of communicating about the project. So we talked to the governing bodies of PXL, together with Cifal, of course. We looked at strategy documents for the coming 5 years and even further. But the most important thing is, again, talking about inside out, outside in, is that we really connected to the internal stakeholders, which were identified, of course, and also the external stakeholders. And yeah, I don't have to mention this to people who are working in higher education institutions or in the academic world. Your main stakeholder is, of course, twofold. That are your students and that are your employees. Without students, you don't have a University of Applied Sciences or a university, and you don't have employees who are working there and who are lecturing or who are doing research. So those two are your main stakeholders. But at another level, we call ourselves a University of Applied Sciences that is really there for the region that we live in and work in. So meaning the connection with the region. In this case, the Limburg province. Belgium has 10 provinces, and one of the provinces is Limburg, where I am currently, close to the Dutch province, also called Limburg. But that means that what you do for the good of your region. So people who are working in Barcelona, let's say, they connect to the region of Barcelona and the metropolitan area. So that's the philosophy behind that. That's also what they call in academics the triple helix approach or the quadruple helix approach, where the industry, the private sector is connecting with the government, is connecting with higher education institutions, but is also connecting with the broader society. And talking about broader society, that is where your external stakeholders are. So the people who have an interest in what you, as a University of Applied Sciences, are doing, and how there can be again an inside out and outside in approach between you two. So to summarize this slide, very important. At the high level, connecting with so many stakeholders as possible, from inside out, outside in approach, internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. And we immediately, together with Cifal and with our CEO and with our board of directors, we chose to implement the SPOC approach, meaning the single point of contact. And that was my dear friend and colleague, Dirk Franco. I put his picture in the middle, who was the SPOC, and he has now just retired a few weeks ago at PXL and at the university also. But he was the SPOC person for the transition project. And yeah, you see my humble picture there. I was one of his, let's say, his lieutenants, working closely together with Dirk in every stage of this transition project.
Jean-Pierre,
sorry,
we missed that slide, I guess.
Yes,
there he
there's
is.
the
Yeah,
slide.
there he is. Yeah, there he is. We missed
this one.
Yep, thanks.
And now you see the SPOC slide now?
Now we see it. Yeah, this is the first time we see it. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah, there is a time lapse between the slides, I presume. Sorry for that. I don't know how that is. You see now the correlation of the willing slide?
Not yet, but I'm sure
now
it is. This is yeah.
That's really strange. You see other slides than I.
Coalition of the willing.
That's strange. Yeah, there's always something going wrong with Teams, in my opinion. So, but it doesn't matter. I can do it by heart, of course. The coalition of the willing. I hope you see that slide now.
No, we see now the spider web.
So there is not only a theory, but also a practical implementation that is called also. Today, the American elections are going on. The presidential elections in the United States, and one of the former presidents of the United States, Ronald Reagan, when one of the many big geopolitical conflicts was going on with Iran and Iraq. It was in those days. He used the words "coalition of the willing." Saying that a number of Western countries and economies, NATO, of course, the United States, they needed to build what he called the coalition of the willing. And that's a nice way of saying that when you bring many partners together in a project that you know are needed to bring the project from point A to point B and from B to C and so on, to an ending point where you want to get to, then you really have implemented the philosophy of a coalition of the willing people that have their noses all in the same direction, with the same mindset and with the same perseverance and dedication to go forward in a project. So that is what we mean with the coalition of the willing. And from that, yeah, you get the growth of the network. That is what you see in this slide at the end of the drawing or the graphic or the graphical presentation. You see how a network grows and evolves and really is put in real life for the transition project.
Jean-Pierre, we have the spider web we are looking at.
This is becoming really strange. And now you see
now you see the coalition of the willing.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I hope you are still with me, because there is a lot of info in this presentation, I think, but I don't want to puzzle you with flipping slides all the time. So this is you see the coalition of the willing slide now. Huh? So here you see at the starting point the transition team, which I talked about. Huh? And that brings forward the mindsets, the coalition of people wanting to change a current situation into a future situation. And you do that by going through projects. And in the end, you get the network of like-minded people and organizations and sub-organizations going through your transition project and going towards the point where you want to get to with your organization. In this case, of course, the PCA. Yeah? Okay. Yeah, I also put there the main SDG, of course, and that is, yeah, logically, we are all in higher education institutions. That is quality education, of course. But as we will see, there are many more SDGs that are applicable in this project. In fact, yeah, probably all of them, but you will see that a number of them will be highlighted. So everything in this transition project at PXL, and now I'm showing the Kickoff 2020 slide, that happened during COVID times. So we started this transition project, and I'm really not exaggerating, we started this in March 2020. And then suddenly at the 13th of March, we got a message, not only we in Belgium, but all over in the world. We got a message from our government that we have to close down shop and we have to stay at home, and everything suddenly in our lives changed. And yeah, I know it was all over the world, of course. We were not living on an island. But that means that we still went through with what we were doing and with the project, but we transitioned to an online project. And together with Cifal, we did 6 Cifal-led webinars, so very intensive webinars, where a lot of information was shared, a lot of discussions, open discussions happened, all having to do with the 17 SDGs, of course, all having to do with the transition project, and having to do with the involvement of what I just explained, the many stakeholders. So
Jean-Pierre,
this,
Jean-Pierre,
yes,
we are still looking at the coalition of the willing.
but this is not true.
Yes, now we've got the spider web. Yeah.
Now you have the spider web.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot explain what is happening.
Doesn't
to
matter.
this,
We will get
yeah.
there.
I hope you're still with me. Here you see the SDG spider web. So this was an intensive exercise that we did together with Cifal to really pinpoint not only the info on the 17 SDGs, but to really pinpoint the SDGs that are important for PXL in this case, of course. And I will come to that in detail again in the coming slides. So as I said, those exercises took place during the COVID times. It was all online. I hope now you see the green office slide.
Yes.
I will constantly ask you now so that I'm sure that we are on the same slide. What we did, because we are an higher education institution, and I just told you, and you know this, of course, our main clients are the students. Without students, no education. So what we did, and we synced this also with international organizations, also from the Netherlands, we immediately set up, also during COVID times, we set up a green office. And in green office, there is an international organization about green offices. We set up that green office because we wanted to really bring the students right into the middle of the project, of the transition project. And the green office, I think I was the one who invented the sentence, not that it is a big invention, but I said, this is something that is for the students, by the students, and through the students. So meaning we give them all the possibilities that are out there to do their stuff. So no limits. Except when they really go out of space, then we call the police, but that didn't happen. But we give them all the possibilities to go all the way, doing events, thinking about new things, to enhance the sustainability mindset among the students, among the 26,000 students, to enhance thinking about SDGs, to bring people together during webinars in those days, afterwards when everything was back to normal, to do live events, bringing students together, talking about sustainability, talking about climate change, talking about the SDGs. So, and this is still going on. This is also the case at our regional university. This is also the case, I know, at Avans, Paul and Reinko and Rob. So it's all over in Europe, but this is a really good way of bringing the students right into the middle of your projects. So now I come to the slide 2020 versus 2022. I found out if I click 2 times, then we have the right slide. So in 2020, we defined our preferred SDGs, and that was done in the exercise together with Cifal. And we found out that the preferred SDGs for PXL were numbers 3, 8, and 17. So good health and well-being, the economic SDG number 8, economic growth, and then partnerships for the goals. And then in 2022, we talked to the stakeholders. We did a stakeholder meeting, a big stakeholder meeting. Rob was there also. And we talked to those partners, and they said that maybe you should give more attention to number 10, number 1, and they agreed on number 8. So they added 2 SDGs from their view to our preferred SDGs. So they added number 10, the reducing of inequalities, and number 1, no poverty. And then in 2020, we also found out that more attention was maybe needed to numbers 7, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So I won't sum up all of them, but for example, number 12 is responsible consumption and production. And that one we implemented through a waste management procedure at PXL. We started to think totally differently about waste management on our campuses. So waste management, yeah, that has to do with the big umbrella definition of facility management also. And talking about those 5 SDGs also with the stakeholders, they identified again several other ones, like number 3 in this case, and also number 8. So you see how we were aligning what we thought in 2020 with what the stakeholders were thinking in 2022. So that's how you see the transition from thinking point A to thinking point B. So that was really a nice exercise to do. So 2 learning points at this moment in the presentation, starting off by building your transition team, then identifying as many stakeholders as possible, internally, externally, really going deep into explaining what the SDGs are, finding out what your preferred SDGs are in your institution, and then in the next process, talking to stakeholders and seeing if they have a different maybe meaning about what your preferred SDGs are, and then aligning the two insights with one another. Okay. So, and then we also were looking at what is called materiality and the double materiality. So the analysis of your, let's say, your value chain and your total chain of not only of commands, but also every topic that is in the governance of your institution. And really, again, looking at impact from the inside on the outside and reversed. And that is what you see in the following slide, the financial materiality and the environmental and social materiality. So how are you, as in this case, PXL, impacting the climate from your company to the outside world? And from the other side, how is the climate impacting what you do at PXL? So that's the double materiality. And if you put that in, this is an example of a materiality matrix. There you can really pinpoint the SDGs again. And for example, in this example, you see that occupational health and safety is at the upper right-hand quadrant, meaning that it is really, really, really important. But this is a theoretical slide. I will now show you the real slide of the exercise that we did at PXL. So you see the Excel slide, Paul, I hope, yeah, with all the colors. And there you see that we really did the internal exercise again, talking to all of our 9 departments or faculties, and you see business up to music. We also have a pop and rock academy at PXL. And they identified what SDGs are the most important for them. And what everyone stated was number 3, number 4, and number 5. So good health and well-being, having to do with the well-being of the students and also the well-being of the employees. So the staff, the lecturers, the professors. Then quality education, of course, super important. And then also gender equality was mentioned as very important. And what you see popping up is number 12, responsible consumption and production. So in the beginning of my presentation, I talked also about circularity. So this is where circularity comes into sustainability, of course. So, and then we did the same with all of our, with the board of directors. So we talked to the Directorate of Education, of Research, of Finance, of Facility Management, of Human Resources, of Communication, and they also identified SDGs as the most important. And we did the same with the people who are working at the Green Office. So there you see how this exercise, the insight exercise at PXL really was put into place. And then again, together with Cifal, of course, we made up this materiality matrix, putting in this graphical representation, the X and Y axis. We took the main SDGs that were named by PXL and the main SDGs that were named by our stakeholders. We put them together and we really identified the lead SDGs. And you see again at the right upper quadrant, yeah, logically I always say quality education that pops up as the most important. But again, you see number 12 popping up there, responsible consumption and production. And you also see, for example, but fairly in the middle, number 3, good health and well-being. And you see that number 10 is, for example, right down under, not in Australia, but I mean in the graphic. You see number 10 on the left-hand the down left-hand side. And that was one that was mentioned by the stakeholder as maybe having to get more attention. So that's a learning point. Okay. And then we come to governance, policy, and strategy. You see this one, Paul? Yeah. So the transition of governance or policy or strategy, meaning we started to talk about redefining our mission and vision. You know, the strategy document of every business or every big company or every institution has this, of course, and thinks about this. But during this transition project, we really redefined this one. And we set up 10, let's say, governance policy lines that were mentioned here, starting from number 1, that is really in the middle. And that is, again, the student. And we call the student at PXL the excellent professional. So we call our students junior colleagues, meaning that we want to give them a good education, the best that we can give them, and make them professionals that go out in the world, into the region, and start to work at companies, with the government, you name it, at every possible institution. All of those were smart defined, and you know what SMART is: specific, measurable, actual, realistic, and timely. And then they were transitioned into, and this is the current stage, into Amore goals. And Amore meaning goals that have ambition, that are motivating, that reflect on opportunities, that are result oriented, and that can be evaluated. And for example, if I take, let's say, the right hand middle one, PXL University of Applied Sciences, or PXL University College, the old name, we provide answers to internal and external sustainability issues, and we tackle this via research and services. So this is one of the Amore goals that we put forward. Or we want to pursue a sustainable, future-oriented personnel policy, meaning that the human resources policy also has to sync with the sustainable way of thinking and connecting with the SDGs, of course. The same for the campus. I will show you examples on that one in the coming minutes. And then the transition also happened in education. So I'm now showing the educational transition slide. And here you see we already had what we call 3 educational areas that are really important for PXL learning outcomes. And those are entrepreneurship. I mentioned I was the founder here of the student startup program. So entrepreneurship is very important for our institution. We do practical research. So we don't do academic research. That's for the university, but we do practical research, meaning we align with the local industry, the local small and medium-sized enterprises, and we do research projects together, bringing innovation to those companies or organizations together with them. And we also work on an international level. Many of our people go to international conferences, have international contacts. What we are doing now is internationalization. So enhancing international and intercultural capabilities was also a very important one, and still is, of course. But through the transition project that we are talking about this afternoon, we brought in a fourth learning outcome, and that is, of course, sustainability. So there you see the transition. In the next slide, you see how this aligns with what we call the PXL X factor. And the X factor is, some words are in Dutch here, I see, or in Flemish. We have 4 components that are really important to us, and that is doing everything with passion and with empathy, being enterprising and innovative, working together internationally and doing a lot of networking, and thinking in a multidisciplinary way. And then again, the 5th item that came into that graphic is sustainability. So you see, always sustainability is put right into the old way of doing things, and the new way of doing things brings sustainability right into the framework. Meaning that education now, in all our curricula, there is sustainability in there. So you won't find any program anymore, whether it is in the education department, whether it is in the business department, in the music department, in the communication department, in the media and arts department, there will always be a sustainability component into the programs, put into the programs. So this is a really important one, I think, thinking about the fact that we are a university of applied sciences or an academic institution. And then, as a third transition, the same happened for the campus. So this is from a presentation I did a few weeks ago when we hosted a European sustainability conference, and Renko and Rob were also here. We are building a totally new campus where I currently am, of course. And we want to transition from a traditional campus to what is called an innovative city campus. And I know Avans in Breda also is in a city campus or heavily connected to the city of Breda. We want to transition towards what is called a smart campus, a sustainable campus, an accessible campus. And with accessible, I not only mean accessible for people who are disabled or who have some kind of worrying situation, but accessible also meaning thinking about mobility issues. Less cars on campus, more bicycles, other ways, e-bikes, you name it, a light rail, other ways of coming to the campus. That enhances carbon neutrality, that enhances sustainability again. So building a net zero campus could be one of the other words that I could have put in this slide. But meaning, again, 4 quadrants: a strong learning environment, a strong working environment, the campus as a living lab, and then, as I already mentioned, the sustainable, accessible campus. In this slide, you see how that also is connected with the new way of building, the new way of going about things in the built environment, working with sensors, with artificial intelligence, with energy controls, with water quality controls, with air quality controls, bringing all the data into a condensed monitoring system where you can monitor all the data and learn from those data. So and this again is then in this case, yeah, the smart campus that really is coming to life, and the living lab that is really working. And these are pictures for the master plan, the real estate master plan that was approved a few months ago, 41 million euros, where we want to transition towards the net zero or the CO2 neutral campus, and also the zero waste campus. And that aligns again with SDG 12. As I mentioned that a lot, responsible production and consumption. You see no cars in this picture. So currently I'm sitting, by the way, on this part of the campus right now. There are a lot of parking spaces and cars out if I look outside, but in this future, and that this will be the case in a few years, there will be no cars anymore on this campus. But that means that, and this is a picture of the near future, somewhere here in the middle. I don't know if you can see the arrow where I'm pointing. Yeah. That is the light rail that will run, the new light rail that will run through the campus. And again, you don't see cars anywhere. So the cars will be at the outskirts of this big sub-region, let's say. So this is what will be happening within the next 5 years at the same spots that I'm sitting right now. By then, I will be officially retired, but I will still be working and coming to this campus, I suppose. As a benchmark, because I was really happy to work there and go there, I want to show you a benchmark example from Riga. And this is the campus that I was at a number of times. This is Riga Technical University at Kipsela. Kipsela is an island space connected to Riga Old Town, the historical beautiful city of Riga, the capital of Latvia. And this is also really a smart campus where they are doing research also on electricity consumption, on water consumption, thermal energy, waste management, mobility issues. Again, all with the view on improving the smart campus and the accessible campus and the sustainable campus. So you see the Daugava River there, the big river, and Riga Harbor you see on this picture also. So this is just as a benchmark, but why am I showing you this one? Because Riga is RTU, I mean Riga Technical University, is in the Decode Sustainability Project by AACEU. And that is maybe an interesting project for you guys also to have a look at. And I put the link down under here so you can have a look. Of course, I will send you the presentation so you can look at those links. I also published a blog article for ACEEU on that one, and I called it Entrepreneurial and Sustainable Universities. Transitioning towards the best of both worlds, because that is in fact what we are doing, from situation A to the better situation B, where, as they say, we only have one planet A. So we want to build the best university and the best campus that there is, and that is aligned with everything that the environment and our sustainable way of thinking and the SDGs really put forward. So there again, also you can access the link. And then in this picture, you see Peter Wollaert, the big chief of Cifal-Unitar in Ghent, together with our chief executive officer, who were proudly presenting the Pioneer, the SDG Pioneer accreditation to PXL. And we also, and this is from the second accreditation, the champion one that we got in October 2022. And there you see a number of other logos. You see the Flanders Chamber of Commerce and Industry logo. And that is a second project that we did, working together with the Chamber of Commerce, also towards a sustainability charter, meaning that we, as a University of Applied Sciences, a government institution, in fact, because we are publicly financed, we, together with private companies, were also doing sustainability transition projects together with those private companies. So that's also something to think about, always as a higher education institution, opening up to the industry in your country or in your region. Again, this is about triple helix thinking again, government, industry, higher education working together. So, and now we are in the current situation, 2024, 5th of November. Now we are working on or looking at the coming time, working on the last stage of the PCA, the ambassador accreditation, also again together with Cifal, of course, and that is the work in progress, of course. And there, one of the things that you have to look at is human rights, due diligence. There's a lot of other stuff that is becoming important now in this third step of the accreditation in the PCA cycle. And to end the long presentation, I hope not too long, is this one. Dirk and I, we are professors in our hearts and academics, so we like to publish and to write and to disseminate what we talk about, and if possible in a practical way. So what we did was we published a lot of journal papers, book chapters about this project, also about energy efficiency, you name it. And you see a number of examples here, the Journal of Innovation Management, a book on European innovation, the World Sustainability Series that is coming in the coming months, the conference that I talked about last October. The first conference was hosted at MIT in Boston at the Sustainability Office. And also there was a project in Umeå in Sweden. So you see a lot of things going on. These are just examples. There is even more, but not to brag, but just to say that it's also important to disseminate what you have to a broader public. And also, given the 3 levels of a university or University of Applied Sciences, you do education, you do research, and you do projects together with the outside world. So, and you do services to your region. So that's why I put this one in there also. So that ends my presentation. But of course, as we said in the beginning, Paul, very open to your questions and my potential answers. If I have them, happy to share my views or what I know.
Well,
so maybe it's good that I stop the presentation so we can see each other again.
yeah.
Perfect.
So I hope it was not too much or not.
It was a lot. It was a lot of information, that's for sure, Jean-Pierre. But hopefully, it is really helpful to to get insights in the process you did with the team at PXL in Hasselt.
Mhm.
And I think it's interesting to see what you did, and to all the others, don't be too scared about the let's say the high level of ambition at PXL, because I know the director or the big boss of PXL has a really high ambition to get this done, actually. But the steps you explained really nice, and so thanks a lot. And I think a little applause for you, Jean-Pierre, because you did a great job. And then Paul, I give it back to you, and maybe there are some questions. So
Yeah, maybe some questions, and especially what's quite interesting, and it's a pity Noemi is not here of the Swiss School Management, because she is also, just like Isla, starting with the whole Pioneer project, not with sustainability, because both institutions are already longer busy with the whole transition. And in the beginning, it's always, okay, what should I do? Okay, I'm now getting this as Pioneer, and now what? What are the criteria? What is, well, how will the assessment be when somebody from Cifal, from Unitar comes by? How does it look like? What I'm supposed to do? And what you give us now is a nice, more brief, general path. But I'm really curious about the people in Portugal, if they've got questions, if they have now a new way of thinking when they look at this. So please go ahead.
Okay, Paul, thank you so much, Jean-Pierre, for the presentation. It was a really very interesting presentation. So now it's not a question of making a question, because there's a lot of them, okay? It was a lot of information. And as you were telling, Paul, we are on this early stage, and we know what we are doing already, but we still don't know where to focus, okay? One interesting point was understanding you've chosen certain SDGs, okay? We will do the same, but which criteria did you use to select those 3 CDGs? And then I know that you implemented 2 more, okay? But for the initial 3, what were the criteria? How did you decide which SDGs were more relevant for your organization? Because we've been dealing with this and talking about this, and it's not still clear for us where should we start, okay? Because all of them are relevant.
Jean-Pierre, yep.
Yeah. So, in fact, that's really a bit of psychology, because it's like doing a self-assessment. We were together with the Cifal people when we did the 6 webinars that I showed you during the COVID years, or the COVID months. We really took the time to do a self-assessment of not only PXL, but also of all the departments, all the governing bodies, and also together with the students, as I told you, and really diving deep, or digging deep into ourselves, thinking about what is most important to us. And that's when, of course, not only quality education was rising to the upper front, but also good health and well-being. And that was, of course, maybe a bit biased or triggered by COVID, because at those days everyone needed security, was looking for security, was a bit scared of what was coming at us. The students were scared about the exams. They were not accustomed with online lessons, neither were the lecturers. So that was maybe a bias for number 3, for good health and well-being. But it really stayed in the front of the important SDGs. And only in a second phase, and that's when we started to talk about the institution as such, and about the way we do things, the daily project management. That's, for example, when number 12 rose to the agenda. Again, responsible production and consumption. We are renowned for good catering here at PXL. So we give good food to our students and to our people. And we even have a GoMio accreditation. You know what GoMio is? It's like the Michelin stars accreditation. Our PXL restaurant has that. So that means, and Rob is nodding, he was here for a number of lunches already. So he knows that I'm not exaggerating. But there again, if you talk about SDG number 12, what are you doing with the food, with the excess food? How are you thinking about that? Circularity, how are you aligning that with your region and with people in the society who maybe don't have the money to buy good food? What are you giving back to the society? Bringing that also into the mindset of the students. And that's how things start to emerge. So it's a lot about psychology and about self-assessment. It's not a textbook exercise that you can do. It's really looking into yourselves, into the core of who you are as an institution. Again, linked to the region, linked to the private industry, connected with regional government or local government. It depends on your situation in your home country. It can be different in Lithuania or in Latvia or in the Netherlands or in Portugal, or in Belgium. But again, doing that exercise is very important as a starting point. Is that a clear enough answer to?
Yes. It wasn't what I expected, and that's why we are still trying to decide how we are going to do it. Okay, because we have, once again, we have some work already done by Joanna, and she made these interviews and she applied surveys as well, so we've got some information. But now that's more relevant, okay? Deciding where we should start and where we should focus. And yes, we need to talk with staff, with non-staff people, with students, some stakeholders that we already sort of engage on this. So yes, we are on this page, okay? Identify people that we will involve, identify outside the stakeholders as well. So yes.
Yeah. Of course, sorry, Paul. Of course, it helps to get some guidance from, let's say, expert consultants who already have done the exercise, and by that I mean the people from Cifal, or in our case, the business case PXL. That is a benchmark example, or what I showed you when I talked about campus development, the Riga benchmark. Those kinds of things can enhance the exercise because you bring in benchmark info and data to work with.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. That's it's all about time always. When we start this pioneer project, we would like to have some kind of focus point, and as quickly as possible go to the tick box and tick the boxes.
Yeah.
So how was that in the first? How long did it take to the pioneer phase, and why did it have that length?
Yeah, that's a very simple answer. It took, let's say, 2 years, but again, biased by COVID. But you cannot tackle the 17 SDGs at one time. So take it step by step. That's something I think is very important in everything we do in life. Also in our private lives, you need to take things step by step. You cannot rush things. And we are not like some, I hope not, future presidents of the United States who thinks that everything can happen at the pace that he wants to. But now I'm becoming a bit political. But what I mean is define a number of SDGs that you want to work on, and really take your time to work on those. and then the rest will come. So you cannot start working on the 17 SDGs at the same time. That exercise will never work. And that's why when we defined, after the starting exercises with Cifal, when we defined the 3 most important ones, we really worked on those 3 SDGs. For example, there was a totally new vision implemented on human resources from that point on. Because if you say that SDG 3 is important for you and good health and well-being is important, not only for students, but also for your staff and your lecturers and everyone involved in education and research. Yeah, and then you have to put your words where your mouth is and your actions where your mouth is. And that means also changing your human resources policy, for example. When we source in new personnel, new talent, or we think about talent retention, keeping people in the institution and not leaving the institution, working with new generations, generation XYZ, currently the Z generation. There again, then you really align with SDG number 3, or for example, with SDG 5, equality, or with gender equality, or with equal access to. And that's step by step. You cannot do it all at the same time.
How long did the process take for finding out those 3 SDGs?
2 years.
Yeah, but it's 2 years, but in the first phase, you had to find the 3.
yeah. That was not the 2 years. That was the beginning of the 2 years, of course. Those were, let's say, I think it's fair to say 6 months, because those are the 6 Cifal-led seminars, so one every month, let's say, on average. So after those 6 exercises, then you really pinpoint the 3 important ones, and from that you take it into the transition project, and you go further with those 3. And then, yeah, as I showed you in 2022, so 2 years later, when we did the big stakeholder meeting, then you really started to synchronize, I mean, what you thought that was good with what others think that is good. And then you can find differences or similarities, but that's good, because no one has the final meaning of anything in these SDGs. Things can change, and the mindset can change, the situation can change. That's why it is a transition project. So that's why I mentioned the 2 dates, 2020, biased by COVID, I always say, 2022, and then now we are 2 years later, but meaning that in those in the past 2 years, we really were working on the champion accreditation, also working on the parallel project that I mentioned with the Chamber of Commerce. So those 2 also in the background came together, let's say. I found that one, but maybe that I am biased because I'm an economist and a former dean of business. I always really highlight the interesting part of working together with your private industry in your region, because when you are bringing new talent to a new workforce to the labor market, they need to know what is out there and what is really happening. So not from theory, but from practice, of course.
And how was the assessment? How was that after those 2 years?
Yeah, the assessment, as you will know, is by Cifal, and that is, Cifal is not making it easy for you, of course, but that's good. And they are constantly triggering you, also documenting you, talking with you, sending back and forth new documents, new insights, new interim evaluations. They are present at all the meetings. Also, they were present during the stakeholder meeting. So that's a really a big plus, working from with them and from such an approach, because you really get, and that's again inside out, outside in. You get all the different views really coming together. It's a bit also like what we know in academics and in higher education, your accreditation bodies in Belgium and in the Netherlands, in Flanders and the Flemish-speaking part of Belgium, and in the Netherlands we have the Dutch Flemish accreditation body that is looking at our master programs and our bachelor programs. I suppose it's the same in Portugal or in Lithuania. Again, aligned with the Bologna Agreement. So you need to walk the talk. So you cannot say I have a high level business program and it's worth nothing in the end, and the students don't know what they are talking about. So then you're not working in the right manner, of course. And for example, the university that I'm working for here in the region has an AACSB accreditation. That's the highest possible American accreditation for business faculties. So yeah, that again shows that you are talking with peers and with visiting bodies who are looking at what you are doing.
Okay. It was quite a long answer, and hopefully it is an answer, Marco, but I heard your question, and I also know how Cifal is working, because we are really cooperating with them, with the Global Goals community. As a matter of fact, we are the same, but then in the Netherlands. Yeah. And we also have a lot of tools. So I wrote down the question you had, and I think, Paul, we can take a look at the tools we have and supporting and handing over the tools and maybe supporting in a seminar like Cifal did for PXL.
Yeah.
Just to start from this process. Maybe Carolina, do you have any questions, because you are really new in this process and it's more absorbing before it starts when I say that, but
I'm trying to understand everything. So
okay.
Thank you very much for clearly presentation. And I want to ask you, if you can, please send me this video. Okay, I want to hear one more time, and because there was a place where I don't understand. Okay, so I want to hear one more time everything.
Oh, perfect. We will send the presentation, the video, and we'll send the presentation, because you sent it already to me, Jean-Pierre. So we have it.
Yeah.
If there is no change on it, but so we will send the information. So you can also share it with your team.
I have a few extra slides in this presentation, Rob, but I will send you the new version.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, perfect. And then Paul, it's almost 5:30, so
it's almost 5:30 or 4:30. Yeah. This morning
4:30 for someone, 6:30 for some other people. Yeah.
It's all kinds of 30s. I would like to know, so in Portugal, did it help? Did it help, this information, to get some other knowledge? I think it's a yes.
They are saying never again with that too many slides.
And now the real answer.
Oh, they're looking at me. In next week, on Thursday afternoon, we will be in Istanbul. So Marco, you are, I don't know if some of the other people who are on the table will be in Istanbul as well.
Mindaugas will be, and we will tomorrow discuss about this meeting.
Perfect. And there will be also Noemi, so the Swiss School of Management will be there. And then we can talk a little bit further about all these topics we have now talked about online, but we will be physically there in one room, and that will be probably also a little bit easier. Rob and myself will be there, of course, as well. So the story continues. And well, Jean-Pierre, thank you really so much for the presentation and the clarifications and the challenges. And when do you think the ambassador project will be ended? How long that will it take?
In the timeline, it should be within 2 years.
Within 2 years.
So
yeah, it's always a longer point of time.
Yeah, because this is maybe the most difficult stage to go through, because you are really talking about aspects like, as I mentioned, due diligence and all those kinds of things. So it's another level of looking at things, but okay. We will manage, and knowing PXL, being here 15 years, they sometimes want to go even quicker. So and Rob knows this. We like to communicate about our successes. So we were the first in Belgium to get the Pioneer label. Then I think also the first to get the ambassador label, the champion label. So that means, and now we have other institutions in Flanders, in Belgium, who also are working on that. Like Ghent, for example, is also doing it. Thomas More also, I think, Rob, if you know them.
Ghent, West.
West. So a lot is happening. By the way, happy to have done this for you. I hope it was helpful and hopefully not too theoretical. I think it was a lot of practical insights and benchmarking. I do a lot of visiting professorships. So if you ever need me in Portugal or Lithuania, I'm open for that also, of course, or in the Netherlands.
Of course. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Happy to help. Have a good evening, and see you all soon, and enjoy Istanbul for those who are going to Istanbul.
Yeah.
We're gonna miss you. Yeah.
Yeah.